Hi, everybody. Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Hope you're enjoying the live stream so far. This is a pre-record, obviously, so I can have a bit of a kip or maybe go to the toilet for a bit. But obviously, the under-18s are. I mean, what's been quite a poor, let's be honest, poor season so far for the West Ham men's side. The under-18s have been the shining light, and hopefully, would have secured the Premier League 2 South, the league title. By the time this goes out, if not, they'll secure it on Saturday with just a point against Brighton. But more importantly, on Thursday, the 6th of April, we have the semi-finals of the Youth FA Cup final or semi-finals. And it's the first time we've ever done that since 1999, where we went on to win it. So I thought, do you know what? Let's get some of the boys from the 1999 side and have a bit of a chat about that, because it was such an incredible period of West Ham in terms of the academy. Some of you may not even be born before that when that happened, unfortunately, but we'll talk about it. It was a great, particular final, fantastic night. Showed West Ham and how much we loved the bloody academy. Let's bring them all in now. I'm waiting for Izzy and Bertie, so they're going to walk about for a little bit. Don't worry. I can stall like the best of them. See, Newts is sorted. Newts knows where it's going to be sitting. He's no problem at all. But what we're going to have three guys from that final squad. We're going to have Bertie Brayley, who scored a couple of goals in that final. I'm sure he'll tell us about him. Newts, who scored as well, and the skipper Izzy as well, who lifted the FA Youth Cup. Technically the last West Ham player to lift a trophy, if you don't count the Intertoto Cup, which ain't too shabby. Alonso. Right, let's bring them all in now. There we go, gents. How are we doing?
All right. How you doing, Russ?
We're very well, man. We're very well. Can you believe it's 23 years ago?
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. 23 years.
I mean, some people have been born, had kids, and all that's in between that period.
Played in the World Cup.
Played in the World Cup, exactly. Yeah, they could have quite easily been born. Yeah, fucking some of the something like Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham wasn't born.
Yeah, wow. How old's Declan?
That 23,
23, isn't he?
I think Deck was born that year as well.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Crazy. Right, now everyone feels old. Brilliant.
Don't feel old enough, no.
Yeah, cheers for that, Ross.
Pleasure.
We still talked about, though.
In it, and I mean, I've been funny. The fact is, we haven't gone this far in this tournament since you guys won it in 1999. And as you said, still high. That academy year still sort of held in really high esteem. Because of what that team did. I mean, for anyone who doesn't remember, or for Declan Rice who's tuning in, he wasn't born at the time. Obviously the final, which was two-legged, turning over Coventry. Future England goalkeeper Chris Kirkland in goals, 9-0. 9-0.
Scored 3 past him.
I know you missed the penalty though as well, Bert, didn't you?
Oh, don't bring that up. It's a poor pen.
Poor pen. But
who
also
let you take the pen anyway? I'm normally on the pen.
I scored, didn't I? I scored in I think someone missed the round before. We was on a policy of if you missed, then someone else takes it. It's my turn.
I never missed.
That would have been true, to be fair, innit? You know how strict it was, or
you
missed.
That's definitely, but I don't remember missing. So I think I took one. Is it Walsall?
Was it Walsall or Stockport?
Yeah, Stockport.
No, we didn't play Scunthorpe.
No, Stockport.
No, Stockport.
Stockport. Oh yeah.
See, 23 years ago, here's his earrings going and everything.
Yeah, not wrong. Not wrong, lad. I can't even remember. I can't know who scored against Walsall. Was it Garcia?
I'm not sure. Yeah, he scored in every round, to be fair, didn't he?
To be fair, though, I remember Harry coming in at half time and giving us a bollocking.
Yeah.
Was that because of that celebration? It went a bit too far with it. Everyone got in there.
Big time, to be fair, showing off, and there's like 10 minutes gone or something. We was taking pictures.
Brilliant. Oh, I love it. And I remember when the final happened. So Jeremy was doing the announcing, because again, for anyone who doesn't remember, obviously the final we had it at the bowling. They only opened one stand, and I think kickoff was delayed by about 15-20 minutes because at the end of it there was 25,000 people, about 3 or 4 deep all the way around. I mean, I'm surprised nowadays they wouldn't have allowed it, would they? Because
there was people in the aisles.
It was mental. And I remember Jeremy saying, towards the end of the game, please don't run on the pitch. The winners will be presented with the trophy, whoever they may be. And then apparently afterwards, he was pushed up against the tunnel by Gordon Strachan, like by the throat, saying, I've got kids in that changing room crying by what you said. He's like, well, you're 9-0 down at 9-0 down aggregate. What you've lost the game, my friend. But it was just a crazy time, wasn't it? Absolutely amazing time. Obviously, there you all are. Look at Newts at the front. Has to get on the front, and it has to get.
Love it.
I mean, look at some of those players
at the front, isn't it?
Listen, he deserved the player of the final as well.
Yeah.
He had 2 great games in all fairness. And his first goal against Coventry away. What a chip. Come on.
Looks
Yeah,
nice,
that was a
innit?
great goal, to be fair. I never expected that from Newts.
Okay, not in anyone,
I've
bro.
been with him so many years, I've never seen that in training, nothing. So he just pulled it out of the final.
just pulls out of the locker. Just pulls it out of
Quality
the locker.
goal.
Happens,
But
innit?
I mean, as I said, that I mean, what was so special about that side? Because obviously, to get to the steps of final, to turn over that side with Coventry was so much. It's a 9-0 on aggregate. I mean, you must have had such a good. I mean, obviously, you still got a good bond now. Between the lot of you. What was it about that group that just worked?
I'd like to give a shout out to Peter Braybrook.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, and Tony Carr. And obviously as well, Jimmy Yamson and all the scouts, because I think back then, West Ham scout, we scouted a lot of the top players, and everybody wanted to be at West Ham, to be honest.
Yeah.
And just kind of, I don't know, I think we all knew each other from under 13s, maybe.
Essex, wasn't it? Nine of us played for Essex.
Pardon?
9 of us played for Essex, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm just talking about all came through from West Ham. I think like, a lot of us started like very young together, like kind of building the bond. Bertie came a bit later.
I was under 13 from Aston Villa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just like everyone just really got on in that team. Like we just gelled really well. From the goalkeeper, Stephen Bywater, then we had like 2 left side. On the left side, Sam Taylor, Sean Byrne, Newts on the right, me, Terrell, Stevlin.
Stop that.
Yeah, and you got Joey in the middle, Michael Carrick and Ferranti, Richie Garcia, Bertie, Amos. Like these are boys I still talk to.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? All of them, and like, we've just kept that closeness. So
It says it
no,
right
it was,
there,
it was really, really good times.
Yeah.
You're saying all those names, like we're in touch in some sort of capacity still now.
Yeah.
And what I would have said is that, it's from that, I don't know, from those years, from the games that we played, is that it's always had that bond.
Yeah.
And we was all competitive, I think, in the right way, but we were. I'd like to look back and say we was all humble with it. We all wanted the same thing, but we all pushed each other on. If I wanted it, I knew that Bertie wanted it, but I wanted it for Bertie, or I wanted it for it.
Totes, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I said, I really think that there was loads of those combinations, whatever or whoever played on the pitch on the starting 11, like even the boys that would have come on, would have been fully versed as well. So I think the bond was very key for that group for those couple of years.
It was special, wasn't it? It was special.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely special.
And as you said,
from a young age, like as he said.
Yeah. That's the thing, as you said, from such a young age, you built this bond, and as you said, then obviously by them playing well, you get it elevates it a bit more, doesn't it? Because you're playing. It's like, as I said, I see that now of this current crop. That's why there's a lot of parallels, I think, to your crop and the current crop of under 18s, particularly because they have that bond. You can see it in the same way that just looking at that picture of all of you celebrating, the FA Cup, the FA Youth Cup victory and all that type of stuff. And you go back and watch the highlights and stuff again, and you just think such a good. Just team spirit, and as you said, everyone was competitive because obviously you are competitive because it is an individual sport in terms of your progression, because obviously you want to break through and want to get into the first team and become a professional football player. But as a group, it just clicked, and I think that's what we were saying beforehand. This is the club have got. It seems to have a lot of hope for this under-18 crop, and I think it's because they're coming through as a bunch, where we tend to get one or two crop come through from each thing. Here, there's a group, and as we said, we were saying before, we said that like the guy like Devine, we've to Ollie Scarles, Lewis Orfords, you've got Casey at the back, you've got some really, really good players. And I'm looking forward to the Southampton game on Thursday. It's going to be I don't think it's going to be the 25,000 as unfortunately that we had at the Bowling for the final. But
it'd be nice for the boys, though. It'd be nice for the boys.
Yeah, totally. I mean, for you guys, what was it like playing in front of that crowd? Because that's probably the biggest crowd to date that you'd have played in front of, surely.
To be fair, I don't really remember much. Like, obviously. Obviously, you go out there and you're focused.
Yeah.
So you don't really take no notice. Like if you were to ask about certain parts of that game, although it was a really big game, because you're so focused, you don't really remember it clearly, if you know what I mean.
Can I just add to that? I was going to sort of follow on what Russ just said there, like keeping an eye on obviously the youth team's results there. If you're drawing parallels to our crop or our group, I'm just trying to picture things as you're talking, Russ. So that season, domestic games or our normal Saturday games, we didn't lose.
Yeah.
So we had that sort of mentality as a group as well. We didn't want to lose and we didn't like losing. We hated drawing. We hated those three at the back hated conceding goals.
Yeah.
Bywater would scream at anybody for letting them have little things like that, which, if you look back at it, pushes you on and cements certain people's standards. So we didn't lose much. So coming to the final, like personally, like what Bertie's just saying there, it's just, not to be Sam Big-headed, it was just another game not to lose. Do you know what I mean? So, and I always look back and I can reflect, like, obviously playing a few games, and I look back at that period, and I would say that even more so, that we'd be more happier not conceding a goal. Like, even though we won 3-0, and even at home, it was great under the lights. It was great at Upton Park. I guarantee you, the back five, and I know Izzy would be upset, would hate to win 6-1.
Yeah, massive.
That was our standard. That was our mentality, So
definitely set by Tony and Peter again. And,
that's what I'm saying.
Like we like from the first run, I think we went through every game so comfortable, not feeling, even knowing that we were going to win the games. Like we didn't, like there was no team that could step in front of us and we thought, we could struggle here. And that's the honest truth. Like even when we had, and I think Franny Jeffers was playing first team when we had Everton. And they were like,
him and Osman, wasn't it?
they were both playing first team.
Hibbett was there as well.
Yeah, we didn't feel like we went there. We didn't care. We knew we were going there to win. We had Arsenal. They had all really good players. I don't think Ashley played because I think he was away with the underrated.
They had a good side though, didn't they? I mean, we drew away at Highbury. We should have beat them at Highbury. To be fair,
we beat them at Highbury. So I think that was probably maybe, I won't say our worst game, but we didn't really play too well. I don't think.
No, battered them in the second game, didn't we? 4-1.
Yeah. But we just think we went into every game knowing we were going to win.
And that's the thing, and that's confidence. Obviously, that's youthful exuberance, but obviously confidence in your ability. And as you said, you guys are a bloody talented bunch of kids, men. You're adults really, or just about to. So it's this combination of both. And I think, and I can see, and as Newt sort of alluded to, the fact is, I mean, these crop now they've lost 2 games all season. One of them's to Southampton. I think they've scored something ridiculous, like 64. I remember. I think you scored. There was something ridiculous. I think you scored like 20 goals. It was like, or there was 20. In terms of your path to the final, there was a lot of goals you scored as well. As you said, you turned over 1-0 at Highbury. Was it 4-1 or back at Argaff? And it's and this lot is so similar now when you're talking about it and listening to what you guys are saying. Now, obviously, with that, was there any time, I think I know the answer already, that you felt like, particularly the final, as you said, I know you saw it as another game. Was there pressure? Did you get any pressure? Was Harry pressuring? Was Harry, because obviously from an academy perspective, obviously, as you said, Harry came in as shouted at you for celebrating too early at the Stockport game, for example.
Honestly,
Yeah,
God,
no.
Russ, I would
We
just
didn't
say
feel-
that it's just another game. I say that
Nothing
that might
phased us,
sound a
did it?
bit big-headed, but we already had our own standard.
Yeah.
It's a game. Yes, we're in a final, but we're going to win. We want to
Yeah.
win. That's where I'm coming from, So
Yeah.
There was no pressures from the managers. I just remember Tony saying, "Just go out there and enjoy it, boys." And
Yeah.
that's all he said. He goes,
literally,
he knew what we could do, and he just wanted us to enjoy the moment.
Him and Jimmy never kept to their thing, though, did they? Saying there's going to get a tattoo if we won it.
They never
Do you
got a
remember?
tattoo.
Yeah, they said Jimmy Anderson and Tony Carr, they basically said, right, we was at Stockport when we was away, it was a horrible night. And they went, look, if you win this competition, we both get a tattoo. They didn't do it.
Oh, and a man of principles like Tony Carr, you thought he would do it. Oh, unbelievable.
Still got
Unbelievable. There's still plenty of time. I mean, he's just celebrating his. I think he's just celebrated 50 years since he started working at West or something like that. There's an anniversary coming up soon.
He still looks well. I'll speak to Tony now and then.
Top man, isn't he? Top man.
Yeah.
He's when we do these live things. I mean, we get him on, and honestly, it's like I could talk to him for hours, just listen to his philosophy. Because obviously, at the moment, there's a question mark over the academy at West Ham in terms of its progression into the first team. There's a lot, and we've said, and there's been a lot of people who have gone, who people thought were going to be the next person. So like Ashby,
Longello and stuff.
Longello, Ashby, Elise, Sonny Perkins. So these guys, they thought, they're going to make it. They haven't made it, and they've gone elsewhere. They might have gone to rival clubs in the Premier League.
I'd say Longello was the standout one for me.
Yeah, I mean, he played that
Strong
Europa
boy.
League, very good, like lefts, and in particular left side when we need that left side. But the assumption is that's a pathway for Ollie Scars, the way I see that, because that's how.
Yeah.
So, and I get that. So we got Tony on to say, what's the role of the academy, and he said it is to blood players into the first team, and if not, to have a good professional career outside of the gate, outside of West Ham. And we spoke to Mark on the under-18s coaching setup, and he was saying that these guys are he's a West Ham fan as well, so he's like blooding in these players, and obviously people like Kevin Keen's involved in was in charge of the 18s and stuff like that. So it does seem to be a sort of a disconnect at the moment between sort of I think this next bunch, this 18s going through. I mean, obviously Nobes now, who's sporting director, by all accounts, Mark says he's at the training ground every day in the 18s. He puts his boots on. He gets involved in training sessions. He wants to know everything about them because I think he does see a lot of you lot in them. So it definitely is this sort of cyclical thing. It's just taken 23 years to fucking happen. That's the frustrating thing for a lot of West Ham players and West Ham fans particularly, because we like seeing the boys do well. As you said, looking for your side, you reeled off some players. Pretty much everyone turned pro. Everyone goes to pro. That's incredible.
It's like what you said there, Russ. Though over the recent years or whichever, you might have had one or two.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3, 4. Because I'm a West Ham fan, as we all are, and I do like to keep keep check when like my oldest son was still playing a little bit, and sort of maybe 2 or 3 names that might have been spoken about for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's valid reason to be getting excited this year about this group, like you just said there, because there's a group rather than just maybe name being mentioned. There's a group. Well, it's better that better chance that maybe 2, 3, 4 of them push on rather than just one you just pinning the hopes on that don't quite cut it. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, it's no disrespect, but it's to them, but it's more tickets in the raffle, isn't it? So the chances are there's more chances of people coming through rather than, as you said, resting all our hopes on this one person, and this one person doesn't or can't just do it, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't fall for him, or I think that's happened quite a lot. I mean, I think if I did the stats, I think since the turn. I think since Bill was in charge at West Ham, I think Moyes has given more first team debuts to academy players than any other manager.
No, that's brilliant.
But
Yeah.
obviously, they would be for the Europa League and stuff like that. But still, that's great.
Yeah, really good.
It's good to see as well. It's good to see.
When I think West Ham having the last few seasons getting into Europe opens up a little sort of like a little bit of a channel, like perfectly, for the group stages, just giving them minutes, later stages of the game, because obviously Moyes is obviously going to have to balance out the squad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're bringing in 4, 5, 6, whoever worthy youngsters to get minutes, get on the pitch, get under the lights, get around first team players in a competitive game. Yeah, I know statistically, a youngster's coming through, but it gives them more opportunity to have a feel of what it's about. So if West Ham do well, I think it opens up a little bit more of a, I don't know how you want to describe it, but a little bit more scope for a youth team player to kind of get minutes, get exposed basically. So
get a taste.
Get a taste, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think I think now I think the trouble is, now it's like, okay, well that's great, and it's like, well then what's the next step for them? Do you know what I mean? So it's like you look at someone now. I mean, look at someone like Ben Johnson, for example. Ben Johnson's played 80 times for West Ham now, so he's very much a academy graduate. Dex played 240 odd appearances as well. So, there's that's the next stage now. So it's all right getting 5 minutes against FCSB in the Europa Conference League for a dead rubber game. In all honesty, it's what it was. But now it's like, okay, well then being trusted, and I think we spoke before is about the sort of the reluctance of players, of managers to maybe put sort of defenders into central defense. They tend to put them into CDM roles and stuff like that rather than putting them as a centre back. And obviously Declan Rice is an example of that, and look where he's become now, isn't it? So it's the same as goalkeepers as well. I mean, goalkeepers seem to be always, you don't necessarily give it, you wouldn't necessarily give one of our youngsters you might get an emergency loan for Ben Foster or someone like that. It's a really strange thing, I think, in terms of some of the positions and how it all works out. But there's lots to be happy about coming in. It's just going to take time with these boys, I think, but I think they're going to bear the fruits of the labour soon. That's for sure.
I think they're in good hands with Kenny Brown there now as well. Yeah. He's got the job permanently, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Kenny's proper West Ham, and he's been around, many years there, and I think he's the right man for the job.
Yeah. Well, I think the fact is, as you said, there's now with each group there is a ex-player associated with it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So that's brilliant. So even the women, obviously with Conch and Jimmy Walker. Yeah. So you've got 21s. You've got Mark Robson. You've got obviously Kenny's obviously in charge of everything. You've got Robbo. You've got Potsy. You've got Kevin Keane. You've got Zavon. You've got Colton.
All people that care about the club.
All West Ham people, yeah. All West Ham people, and that's great. In a situation where obviously, we're not at the Bowling anymore. We're at the London Stadium now, and a lot of people are sort of a bit, we've lost our identity. Actually, from the 21s downwards, it's tighter more than ever in terms of that bond, which I think people don't necessarily look at because they just see the first team, but it's a pyramid, isn't it? Basically, I found some good pictures. Let's put some pictures up. Look at that. Who's that young man? Look at that young man in the middle. Bloody hell! Jesus. Look at that Barnett.
Short back and sides, long all over. I asked for.
I think Coley
did worse, to be fair.
Look at the haircuts.
Look at that.
Oh my God, geez.
That's it from behind. Look at his haircut from behind as well. Jeez, bless him, bless his cotton. So then we got
Where's the skipper?
There's a skipper.
With 16 when you is.
Nah, 17.
You turned 17 that day, didn't you?
Yeah.
On your birthday, I remember. Yeah.
We went out to Faces after.
Come on.
How'd you get to Faces if you're 16, my friend? Jesus.
Yeah.
No, we weren't there. We weren't there.
You didn't know.
Did you turn 18 that day, didn't you?
Yeah, 18. Fake ID.
Yeah, turned 18.
I think I told you it is.
Scratched it up, so it makes it 2 years more. Yeah, and of course you're in training the next day, surely after you won it.
No, I think Tony gave us a few days off.
Yeah, he did. To be fair,
I think that's one of the only times he gave us a day off. Yeah,
Was it?
yeah.
And we weren't doing the mile on Monday.
Yeah.
oh, the mile! Don't bring that up.
What was the mile?
He
The
done
worst thing in the world.
Oh,
It's the
he
Martin
normally
Oval
brings it
Arena
in when
now,
we
isn't
play
it?
bad.
Yeah, it's the Martin.
We didn't
Oval
really do
Arena.
it that much that season. He normally brings it in when we play bad, like on every Monday.
Mate, even from schoolboys, he had us doing it at 12, 13, didn't he? And it was like you had like the railway pitch at Chadwell Heath was massive. It was a really big pitch.
Yeah.
Round the lights.
Oh, round the lights, wasn't it? Man, I remember seeing Anwar treading water.
Right,
Like the big lads. The big lads were treading water, but there was like you didn't want to come last, did you? So there was like that fear factor of, right, I'm not coming last. So you pushed yourself, but it was like, was it 5 laps around that pitch as quick as we could, wasn't it?
5.5 or something, yeah.
All of us ended up with bloody cartilage injuries by the time we was 18, 19. But we was fit.
Yeah, too right, man, too right. Anwar, and this is how people change. You see, he was going to come on today, but his wife's got him tickets to see Michael Bublé tonight.
That ain't good enough.
No, he's got big time on us.
Listen, he could have got box seats from me.
That's what I said,
Jesus
I
Christ.
thought he could have got. Yeah, he could have got.
Yeah, but you would have
box
charged
seats.
him an arm and a leg.
Double bubble.
Double bubble for him. Anyone with letters after his name gets double bubble, isn't it? Is he anyone?
Oh, mate, I'm so proud of him, by the way. Yes,
Yeah.
Snoots.
No, look at that.
That's an athlete, that is.
And what the fuck about those shirts? Honestly, those shirts were so big.
Yeah, but they all was. Even for the first team players, they was big.
Yeah.
I
just remember, like, when I see that top, I remember John Moncur and Steve Potts. It's just massive on
the
Monkey.
To his knees, wasn't it? It was almost to his knees, and it's so big, so baggy. Oh,
you know what else is? But it was all right. Just noticing there as well. Like on a Saturday morning, we used to get a crowd as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was always quite nice, isn't it? To play in front of people.
It was. We had loads of people coming to watch us.
And all the rest of it, you know.
It's mad, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look at them in the background there, man.
I know, that's crazy, isn't it? All fucking scouts from other clubs sniffing around, isn't it? That's what they're, it's all having a sniff around.
Yeah, some genuine.
I can see it's a couple of boys in West Ham tops there. Yeah, definitely. But I think that
like it wasn't as bad as it is now. Like when lots of scouts will come, loads of agents and stuff like that. We just had genuine fans, people who just supported us.
Yeah. There's a few living in the car park though, wouldn't there?
There's like agents, scouts. It's like hardly any fans there watching. Just like really.
Yeah. Well, no one's allowed in now, are they? Really?
No.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, you got to be invited.
Yeah. Everything's like proper clamped down on. Like you used to get fans. They used to come in the car park at Chadwell Heath, just over like a 6-foot fence. And the first thing would be training yards from them. And at the end of the training session, they could just all get autographs and stuff like that. And they didn't take the mick either, did they? Like it weren't loads and loads. Like some people just go up there for the day, get some autographs. But that's all changed now.
Well, it has changed, isn't it? Because I mean, you get people professional autograph. I mean, there were some professional ones there, but obviously with eBay and shit like that now, you sort of, you see someone and they've got like a whole, portfolio of photos. Clearly these are not all for you. But I think that's the trouble. But also just the way. I mean, obviously you look at Upton Park, and obviously you had the player car park, and you put your hands through the fence. Would sign out. You don't get that now, do you? Which is a shame.
That weren't there back in our day, was it? The old West Stand, that weren't there. That little that fenced bit off.
No,
you could actually the players would walk past you then.
Oh, it's crazy, wasn't it? They used to park the car and walk through, and you used to bump into people.
Was it on the playground? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that school,
school primary school playground.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy how things change. Because obviously nowadays they all get, they get bussed in even for their home games. They'll get bussed in, from the Canary Wharf Hotel, and it's a shame because I think something like that, it's like particularly, I mean, for your kids and obviously all your kids, that excitement, bumping into a football player walking down the street. You know, it's just it's just such a bizarre thing. You know, I used to live in Loughton, and Loughton was obviously a hotbed for loads of the first teamers.
Yeah, West Ham players. Yeah.
Yeah, and we used to like bump into Paul Kitson at Woolworths having some picnic. You know what I mean? But I used to love it.
In his Ferrari.
In his Ferrari.
Nah, Kit's never had a Ferrari.
Poor Paul Kitts. I love Kitts. He was amazing.
Yeah,
He
top man, Kit's. He never signed an autograph for anybody.
that £5 note.
I remember once at Chad Relief's, I was sitting there and I was just about to eat my sponge and custard on a Friday. You know, we had spag bowl every Friday.
Yeah.
And I just went to put it in my mouth, and he'd done my pressure point on my neck. I flicked it all in my face. He was strong, you know.
The strongest man in the world, Kit.
Isn't it? He was strong.
He still is. He still is.
Oh, mate.
But he's more rugged now, isn't he? He's got like a beard. He's a bit more rugged now, I think Kitts is now.
Him and Chris.
Don't sleep on him, because I still keep in touch with John Green.
I do as well,
quite regularly, and he must have been speaking to Kitts or whichever, and I think Kitts must have showed him a clip of him still boxing, and he's in great shape, by the way.
Yeah,
and he was hard as a player, but I think he's even more hardened now with age. But like you say, man, he's a bit of a fitness freak as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Mate, when I see him rough SIE, that was it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, he was.
He ragdolled him, bruv.
When I got injured, like me and Kitts was in the gym a lot because he was injured quite a bit. So like, he was in the gym every day. To be fair, he got me like really strong, like because of him. Like, I was in the gym like when I come out of that gym.
Yeah, and obviously back then, obviously the first team, the first team and the youth team, sort of, they were now they're almost different. Well, they are pretty much different sites. Training grounds now. Well, obviously, back in your day, so to speak, the first team and they were in the same vicinity. So as you said, you could, I imagine there was times where you got pulled in when you were, to train, and the first team, and vice versa. Not vice versa, but then, as you said, that interaction would only help your development as well.
My first time going over with the first team was when Artisan kicked Berkovic in. It was like, I think me and Joe got called over, and we was playing on the little 6-a-side pitch.
Yeah.
And flipping. I think Berkovic is. I think John caught Berkovic as he's going past, and Berkovic has gone down. John's only gone to see if he's all right, and he sort of lashed at him, and he's just gone, wallop, have some of that in your Marie.
Yeah.
And it was like that was my first ever taste of like doing a bit of first team training, and that was a mad one.
This is how we do it.
Yeah, man. It was proper, wasn't it? Everyone was men. Everyone was men.
Yeah.
And they sorted out after,
Yeah.
And that was done. Not, but you don't see none of that anymore.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like what you're saying there, though. Again, I heard Rio talking about it on another platform the other day. That obviously first team, the youth team are over there, and whoever stiffs when
and
it was
the bomb squad.
The bomb squad, the stiffs were just sort of like in betweeny type thing. But having that sort of like closeness interaction, like, okay, cool, 2 or 3 people have gone down with a muscle injury, or they didn't come out for training. At our time, whatever, Harry, Frank, or Roger might say, "Oh, look, send 2 over," and it's like you've gone from that could lift up the youth team players' day, and it can change your whole dynamic of your week, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're filling in, but you're not just a body. Well, basically you were, but you got an opportunity just to go and play. Yeah. In and around with the first team mix. Do you know what I mean? So
nice, wasn't it?
That kind of spirit on the training ground. Obviously, I'd love to know what it's like now. When it's a strictly first team, but we call it fortunate or whichever. But that's how it was. That's what we had. So,
but it wasn't.
Do you lot remember? Do you remember? I think it was '99. There was an eclipse of the moon and the sun, and it went all dark when we was training. Do you remember that?
I know.
No.
I remember. I remember seeing. Cause I remember I watched the clip. I remember because I'd come back from Skiathos and we stopped on the
Yeah.
on the tarmac to watch it. But yes, it was.
It was,
totally
it was only vaguely, but I remember being on the training pitch at Chabaleaf, and it was about 10:30 when we started training, and everyone stopped. I don't know if was you training, any of you boys?
We should have started. I'm surprised we didn't stop to go in. Bloody hell, we
Mate,
started.
no, it did. It sort of went dark for about 20 seconds. You could see it eclipsing. I'll never forget that.
But I was probably in the physio room.
You probably were.
That's how
Izzy was in the dark anyway.
Yeah,
it's in the dark anyway. But you were saying, Nukes, about you being sort of only I'll get dragged into a first teamer. But then anyone who's watching who's under 16s or under 15s and sees you training with them thinks, fucking hell, if I keep going, I could. So there's sort of mentally putting that pathway in their head.
Definitely. Just little opportunities, little windows. That's what I was saying earlier. But West Ham being in the earlier rounds of European competition just creates little windows, So our fingers crossed for continued success.
That's a missed opportunity, though, not training in the same facilities.
Yeah.
Because being youth team, I remember though, because we're training over there, you can see the first team training. You're thinking if anyone goes down, or sometimes they might just call you over anyway. They might need 2 players. I'll come over, and you get excited with things like that.
Yeah.
Around the first team players and just cleaning their boots, and they should definitely bring that back.
Yeah, definitely.
Doing youth team cleaning first team's boots and that. It's good just to have that bond anyway.
It builds your character as a person as well. Is like it gives you that respect. You're cleaning someone's boots, and you think
excited. You're excited because I remember when Righty came, and who had Righty Newts? Yeah, it was you, innit? It's just exciting seeing Ian Wright's boots. It's Ian Wright.
Bruv, did you get a oneer at Christmas?
Nah, I had Paul Kitson.
Di Canio gave me a pair of Pantofolas, right? They was 2 sizes too small with no laces. I can't even sell them now. I can't even get my Christmas dough now.
Have you still got them?
Still got them in my loft. They're like pristine.
They're Di Canio's boots.
They're size 7. I'm size 9 for a start. I couldn't wear them. And they've got no laces.
£100 for them.
Do you want to buy them? I just want everyone else is getting a one-up.
I didn't get a one-up. Kits never gave me a one-up. Kits gave me a slap in my head.
I got £100. I got £100.
Yeah, Righty looked after you. I know Rio looked after his one.
Yeah. To be fair, I think Sinks give me he gave me a little drink. To be fair,
and the other one, the comparison for Righty and the other one I had was Stan Lazaridis, and he just gave me. What boots did we get off the club?
Fila.
Ponies.
No, there you go, Fila.
Fila.
Fila. No, it was ponies back then.
No,
that was when we were schoolboy.
It was Fila, yeah, because I remember
we had the Joma Arsenal, then we had the ponies, and then we had the Filas.
The green rascals.
Yeah.
He just gave me his old training ground boots. I was like,
cheers, mate.
They were just so dusty, man.
What a guy he was, to be fair, though, Stan.
Oh, yeah.
And Craig Forrest, they were all quality, weren't they?
Yeah, Craig's on. Obviously, we're pre-recording this. Craig's on later on tonight, so he's a good boy. Craig, he always comes on, and I think we'd have. This is like sort of Back to the Future. Like I'm talking in the future, so then we'd have had. Hopefully, we've had and Shaka would have been on beforehand before you.
Shaq, what a guy!
Top man.
Shaka's on, is he?
Oh yeah, Shaka's on. Yeah,
from the States.
Yeah. He comes on quite a bit. Bless him. He's top boy. Top boy, Shaq's. Obviously, the clocks have gone back, innit? Oh, I will. Iz. I'll say. Iz has said hello from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Head exploding emoji. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm Marty McFly. Yeah, I think I'm Marty McFly. My arm will disappear in a minute. But
it take me back 23 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Taking news beforehand, he said it's just like it was yesterday. It's crazy how time flies. And as you said, it's been a Declan Rice worth, since the last time we did it. So, gents, man, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully, hopefully get to go to the game on Thursday. I'll see Kenny. You'll probably
I've got my little man's mascot against Southampton on Sunday,
yes.
and I said about I'm going to try and get up there Thursday. But obviously with my coaching company, I do a lot of evenings. But if I can get someone to cover, I fancy going to it. To be fair, it'd be great to see them do it.
Yeah,
I can't make Thursday, but I'll definitely make the final when they get there.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll have to. Well, hopefully it'll be the Emirates, and you won't have to.
Is there anything on? Is there anything on like a live stream or anything?
I imagine they probably would do. I don't know, to be honest, but I imagine they probably would do. But there'll be no tickets on the door. I've been told by Mark.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, Mark said there's no tickets on the door. I think because I think they might. I don't know why, but you can't buy them on the door. So, but I don't think you can buy tickets on the door anymore now.
So what do you do? Just buy online then?
You have to buy them online that beforehand. Or we've got Newcastle the day before, so I think a lot of people might buy their tickets the day before. And,
Everyone's trying to get rid of cash and all, isn't they?
Yeah.
it's a cashless society now, isn't
What's
it?
going on? What's going on?
But if you do, make sure you get a quid and you put it in the Iron Sporting Food Bank's bucket.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. All it takes is a fraction. We've got 7. I think we've got 6 home games in April, which is about 350,000 people roughly.
Mm-hmm.
If you add it all up, so all it takes is 1%.
Everyone puts a little quid in,
and we multiply it by 5 times already for our charity. So that's great, So that's all good, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure, my friends. Do you know what? I could listen to you for hours.
We still got 20 minutes. I thought you said we had an hour.
You can't talk.
You run out of stuff. We got any banter here or what?
Plenty of banter. Who was
finished?
Izzy's knackered, mate. Izzy's asleep.
I don't know whether it's a smoking jacket or
is that a Joe Pong Gaultier? That dressing gown.
Don't worry about me, lad.
just wake him up at the end. Who was the prankster? Was there a prankster amongst the boys?
30.
I think everyone got involved with the banner.
I didn't cut no one's clothes though. The DP was funny.
Classic.
What's he got done with DP?
You know what? I'll be honest though. I think some of the stuff we did and we done, we'd probably get fired nowadays.
Oh, what about me getting caught at York when we played York away?
Yeah,
and I had the I got to be careful because my wife's upstairs, but I had the what them cleaning ladies, like the people who come and do the rooms. I had one of them in my arms, and there was like a glass door in the corridor, and I picked her up like a wedding carry, and Peter Story's coming through the door, and I just dropped her. We all had a meeting. Do you remember? We had a meeting in the hotel? Imagine doing that these days.
Oh, bloody hell, babe.
Oh,
I just dropped her, poor girl. Hope she's all right.
I'm sure she is. If not, you haven't heard from her. She ain't sued you in 23 years. So
yeah, exactly.
I think the statutory, since the incident, I think you're clear now, Bertie. So you're right.
Yeah, I'm all right. He's gone now, Peter, isn't he? He's not at the club no more.
No, he's all right. Pete, yeah. I think he's back. I think he's getting back into football. I think
I heard his name being bandied about.
Yeah, he's Coventry or someone like that. I think it's funny, isn't it? It's funny how people, and although Harry's still sniffing around for the Spurs job, when he was like, I could get involved if you want.
He's got to get a chance with the England job though.
Oh,
I would like to have seen him.
I'd have liked to have seen Harry to take England over. To be fair,
I don't know, because he would have tried.
I think he'd have done all right.
He would have tried to sign Cranshaw for England, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So Cranshaw, so
Nico.
you played for Croatia, yeah, but Nico, surely it must be like a.
I mean, if
you've got an aunt who's English.
If what's his face, Mancini could put that Argentinian Mexican player up front for Italy the other day who scored, Reggini. Anything's possible now. Anything's possible nowadays.
To be all seriousness, though, to be fair, I think the way Harry manages with the people he gets around him, he would have done really well for England. I think.
Yeah, 100%.
I think so. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, it's a bit of a bad one that he didn't really get a crack at it. Really.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's just one of those things, wasn't it? I think there's a lot of. I think that's the thing about football, isn't it? It's if, buts, and maybes. It's all, and I mean, you guys attribute, right place, right time. as you said, injuries at the wrong time.
There's
And all
a
that
fine
type of
line.
thing.
There's a fine line,
Yeah.
isn't there? You know, there's an element of luck.
Yep.
You know, a lot of it. Like when you talk about like obviously ability, that's all right, but we wasn't aware of like the mental side of things.
Yeah.
You know, like all things that was going on that we had to keep sort of, you know, for pride purposes or whatever, sort of locked up inside. Do you get what I mean? Am I going too deep here? I see.
No,
No, are you talking about the mental health situation?
Yeah, no, let's
I
do
don't
it.
think
Let's do
we really dealt with that back in
No.
the day, though. Did we?
No,
Like,
listen,
there
we was just strong. We just had to get on with it. Like, I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
about
some of
you
the
lads,
things
but
coaches
I had
used to
things
say to
going
young
on behind the
players.
scenes, and you brush things under the carpet, and you just go in as normal. And like as Izzy was saying, like I was a bit of a joker, this, that, and the other, but getting in there was my escape. Like when I got to training with the lads, like you can't replace the banter we had.
Yeah.
We had quality. Listen, we could all dance. We all had a bit. Do you know what I mean? It
You
was
know, like the
a
mental
bunch of
health,
lads.
right? I don't feel like back then when we was playing, there was any time to complain about anything.
No.
To be honest, like, you know what I mean? You could have come and be like, oh.
I think we was very mature. I think we was like, you know, when we was kids, I think we matured quite early.
I just think it was I don't know. That was just the way it was then, isn't it? Back then, no one complained about anything. You just got on with it.
Just got on with it.
Like,
I look at it now, and like there's parents going in and talking to managers and stuff like that.
Oh, you can't imagine it back in our day. If our parents went in,
oh, you're not playing in what it's that and the other. We'll just knuckle down and get in the team, innit?
Yeah.
Like there was none of that, and like you know, you got parents speaking to like you know, coaches and stuff like that. Why ain't my son playing? Like, you know.
Do you think that's a factor of the fact, you know, I mean, you know, when in 99, you know, the Premier League had only been around for about 4 or 5 years, or 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, 92 it started, I think.
Yeah, so now there's so much money in the game, and as you said, you know, clubs are picking up kids at the age of 10, you know, and
mate, those kids getting 5-year deals, not flipping, you know, getting in nowhere near the first team, and they're becoming millionaires. It's frightening.
And that's probably why they're, you know, because the parents see it as not as a cash cow, but you know, as a future for them and their kids, and so that's probably why they're a bit. I mean, to be honest, I'll be honest, my wife's very similar with the bloody musical theatre person. I know it's a bit different, but still, she'll be like, they should have the same amount of lines as this person, and I totally agree. But I think
listen, football ain't about that, mate. Like, to be fair, with our group, I mean, me certainly, I was never like, I want to get over and train with the first team instead of this one or that one. I didn't think like that.
Yeah.
You know, but football's a cutthroat business.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was enjoying it more than thinking, right, this is work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas it is work.
What did we say a bit earlier is when we realise it's work, isn't it? The enjoyment of football.
And I never took that. I never took that on. I was like, I enjoyed playing, but I didn't see it as work. Right, you need to work on this. You need to do this for yourself. You know, and I suppose that comes with a bit of guidance as well.
But that's why, like a lot of ex-players, you imagine again, just following on from like the mentoring or the mental side of it. I think when you get a lot of ex-pros that go and speak to the under-16s or the under-18s about the pitfalls and the kind of traps and all the rest of it, and you know the old cliche, "Oh, not everyone's going to make it" type speech. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot. Well, obviously, it's a key thing, and I think they throw it under education now, don't they? Again, I don't recall having many of those talks or whichever. It was just personal with first team players there and then. Is it like bloody Alvin Martin coming to sort of say to it, hey, listen, lads, this is what happens when, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, listen, keep working hard, keep pushing with current first team players. But I think when you're that age, you don't really take it on anyway, like so to speak, because
No, of course you don't.
you're constantly, well, you should be constantly chomping at the bit to sort of keep progressing. Do you know what I mean? And it's so much.
It's quite interesting. I remember we interviewed Stuart Slater, and he was and he talked about sort of the ex players. I mean, I think he signed. I think schoolboys. I think he was like 13 or 14. He signed, but he had Ray Stewart going to his youth team games from the age of about 12. So that sort of first teamer, like, and Tonka was like he was first team. He was, he was first team at West Ham, and as you said, Alvin Martin coming and talking to you guys, that would probably resonate more with you than necessarily sitting down with a educational development person to talk about something, because they've lived through that. They've been through the heartache. They might have been dropped. They might have, not got a schoolboy scholarship and then gone to another club. I mean, Alvin had to move down from Liverpool to come down here. So
that's why it's good. Like what you just said in there earlier, that with every all the age groups, they've got like a past player sort of connected with the club.
Yes, quality.
Right, so it's important to have those people around,
Yeah, but I can't. These kids ain't listening to no one.
If you don't want to listen, then it's one of those details that it's just gonna put an X next to your name, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unfortunate or not.
Listen, if the three of us could go back, we'd all do things differently, right? With the head on our shoulders we got now, I'd have done things so much differently.
I don't know.
But what I'm saying is they don't know they're born. They don't know the opportunity they got in their hands.
Yeah.
You have to work for it, though. It doesn't get given to you, does it?
I don't know if I'll change anything. I had a great time. Really.
Oh no, I had a great time. I'm talking about from a personal point of view. I would have changed the way I approached things.
Yeah. I would have started playing golf a bit earlier.
I've seen that. I've seen some of your shots. You've been out of Joby, haven't you?
Yeah.
Bro, I was going to surprise you one day.
Golf a bit earlier. I'll be a lot better now.
Everyone's getting the golf bug, isn't they? Forge.
Oh, mate, it's a great game. You should come play with us.
Yeah, no, I've seen your little crew. I said to Joby, I'll come out one day, but mate, I ain't played golf for about 2 years, but I went out with Jeff Brazier last year.
Jeff comes.
Yeah, listen, you asked him about when we played a round of golf. I've turned up in all the dog tooth trousers. I've got the flipping shoes on. I've turned up. To be fair, I looked the nuts, right? Couldn't hit a ball. Kept shanking everything.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. And I'm not bad at golf, to be fair. I got down to 12, right?
Bloody hell, you're pretty good then.
Yeah, when I got sacked from Swindon, I had 6 months to play, didn't I? But I hadn't played for a couple of years. I went and played in one with Razor up in Ashford, and we won it, right? And then from then, I hadn't touched it, and I thought, yeah, I'll just get back and I'll play, mate. I didn't hit one good ball on the whole 18 holes. I didn't hit one good ball. Threw me clubs and everything. But then I was down the range that night, just hitting loads of balls, thinking, what's wrong with me? It's mad.
Crazy.
But I'll come in. I'll have a little go. I'll get down the range. I'll come and have a go.
I did that. We had our sort of golf day for all my mates. I mean, I haven't played golf for, I haven't played golf for about 11 years now. But 11 years ago, last time I played golf, we had like a weekend away, and I turned up for breakfast in like all the pink plaid stuff, and obviously got with the hat and and got the first tee, and everyone watches the first tee, don't they? All the blokes watch.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy knows what he's doing. Look at him. He's just like Ian Poulter. He must know what he's doing. And totally like shanked the first one. And that was it. From then on, it was just all the gear, no idea. That was me.
It's a frustrating game. I mean, like I ain't bad, and I just couldn't hit a ball straight. Jeff had only just started playing. And he's going, oh yeah, I'm off about 28, blah blah, and like I looked like I'd never played a game of golf in my life. It's embarrassing.
Good mate.
Ask him when you see him.
You see, and we've managed to do 54 minutes now. There we go. We've spoken
6
about.
minutes, you owe me, Russ. You ain't going yet, bruv.
Yeah, your missus has given you an hour, so that's it. You're going to use it all. But you know, we've got quite deep, got into the mental side of football as well. You know, I wasn't expecting that, but that's good. That's interesting.
Who's the one to watch out for tomorrow, Ross? Who's
The guys who watch out for the 18s, I think. As I said, the young lad up front, Callum Marshall.
Yeah,
I've seen him. He's scoring goals, isn't he?
He's one of those guys who's got like a natural knack of scoring goals.
He's like a Gary Alexander.
Yeah. Like I thought I like him to be a bit more like Craig Bellamy.
Is he quick?
He's quick on the floor and he's nippy and he's sort of, you'd hate him as a defender because he's always.
He would deal with him. He'd deal with him.
We'll sort him out. Welcome to the English game and all that lot. No, but Callum Marshall, I think he's a good player. And we got him from we got a couple of lads from Northern Ireland. We got Callum, and then we got where is it? Patrick as well. Where's Lewis as well? Where's Patrick? He's where is it?
There's Jonesy, little Liam Jones.
Yeah, little Liam Jonesy. There you go, Steve Jonesy's boy.
Come on, the Jones boy.
Come on, the Jones boy. He's still he's doing well at the moment. He's playing really well. And obviously, you know, the likes of Divine, obviously, who's come through the ranks now, and he came off the bench the other day.
He's been impressive, isn't he?
Yeah, for the first team when he came off the bench, he looked like he wanted to cause some aggro, and really sort of pressured.
He looks physically ready, and he's only young.
Yeah, he is. He's very good, and you got Kodu as well. He's a good player as well. Gideon, he's a very good player. So they've got some really good players.
Is he centre back?
No, he's up front, forward.
Well, Gideon.
Gideon. Yeah. Then you've
forwards. Then you got him. You got Divine. And you got
they've got loads. They've got some really good forwards. They've got the likes of the likes of Casey at the back, centre half, good centre half.
Is he the tall lad?
Very tall, very.
Yeah,
he is, but he's been on the bench a couple of times for the first team as well. Who else? You got Ollie Skulls. A lot of them are.
I've heard his left foot's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's got a great left foot. Where's Ollie's? Where's Ollie? He looks so young though. But yeah, Ollie's a really good player. He took a knock. He came off for the quarterfinals. I think he got a knock, but he should be all right for the semis. But they've got some really good players. So that's what I mean. We've reeled off about 4 or 5 players really without even really thinking about it.
I'll tell you what, Russ. Let's talk about Kenny Brown's situation. By the way, so he's got Lewis is at Arsenal, his son, and he's academy manager for West Ham. And they could meet in the final. How bad's that?
Yeah, they could. I didn't think about that. Yeah, shit, innit? God, dear.
That's a hard one for Kenny.
What position?
They're in the Premier League South. It's called Premier League South. So they split the Premier League teams, North and South. So as I said, they'll win. They should win the. Well, where's the league table? I've got the league table up already because I was showing Mark. I mean, they've got something ridiculous. Where is it? So they're West Ham. Yes, they're 48 points. This was before Fulham played. Fulham are the only team that can catch them because they've got 2 games. They got a game on them, or 2 games on them. So if they don't win today, then they've won the title. So 18 games, 64 goals. That ain't a bad return at all.
Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, it's decent.
And
can they win the treble or anything like we did though?
No, I don't know. No, I think I don't know about how they do for the League Cup or what they do for that, but they could win the double. I mean, Arsenal and Southampton are a bit of a false position, really, because they both. I think City have won or are winning the North one at the moment, but Southampton and Arsenal, a lot of their players playing the 21s. So they tend to come down. So Southampton's team will be a lot of the 18s who are in the 21s playing in the semi-finals. So they're a slightly different side, the league side to the cup side. So yeah, I mean it's they've done phenomenally. And as I said, they're playing Brighton on Saturday. So a draw. If
12th place there.
Let's have a look, bring it back up. So they've got so you've got the league games. I think they've got 4 league games. Yeah, it must be 4 league games left. So yeah, as I said, if it's not secured tonight, it'll be on Saturday. They've got a home game against Brighton. They need a point for that to win. So fair play.
They
And
should
then
do
Southampton.
like is it the Premier League South then North? Is it?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should like the winner of both league play each other.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, they could well be in the FA Cup final, really. If I think City get through.
Yeah.
So what's replaced the? So when we was there, we had the South East counties, we had the Premier League under-17,
Yeah.
under-19, and FA Youth Cup, didn't we?
Yeah. So now they've got the PL2,
Which is the 21s, right?
21s, which was the 23s, but now it's the 21s. Now I don't know why.
Because we like if you was past the 19s, you was in the reserves, weren't you, back in our day?
Yeah. So that's replaced the old combinations leagues, basically.
Yeah.
Really, which is a shame, really, because I remember we spoke before, Izzy, about about the kids going and playing reserve team football. You told me a story about, I think it was Ian Pearce and Les Ferdinand. You were playing Spurs. See, I remember that was fucking about a year ago.
Yes,
I remember, mate.
Yes,
Right, Russ,
like,
that's an hour, mate. We got to go.
Yes, no. 53 seconds. Time to
I'm only joking, mate. Go on, carry on.
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, you learn a lot because I remember Stuart Pearce learning a lot from Stuart Pearce and Les Ferdinand and like Ian Pearce as well. So
Ian Pearce, lovely guy.
It was a big deal. So I think like when you then drop it to just playing 23 and 21 football, it just kind of becomes like a jolly up. There's nothing you don't. It's not that you don't take it seriously.
I think the reserve was massive.
Learn.
Yeah,
you don't really learn.
Massive, isn't it? The reserves. Like, I don't know why they scrapped that.
I don't know, because I think technically, I mean, I think we've spoken to Kenny about it. We've spoken to Robert about it. I've spoken to like Pat Holland about it. All these guys. Patsy, lovely man, and he goes, yeah. I mean, the skill level, you still get the skill level, so that's fine, that's fair enough. But it's the physical level. It's the physical, which you don't get. Izzy's texting someone, so I'm going to mute him.
I pressed the wrong button a minute ago and it kicked me out.
Don't worry. There he is. He's back.
We just started another hour.
Yeah, it's the second hour. Yeah, it's all right. I ain't being funny. There's a podcast in this for you lot. I think there's definitely a podcast for you lot to do this type of things. I think.
Well, we've got some stories. We're keeping it clean at the minute.
I know, but I think there's definitely something for you guys, because I think there's a real
faces.
Yeah. You can do a whole episode about faces and Hollywoods. There's definitely something in that. Definitely something in that. But it's true about the reserves. That no reserve team. It's the physical side. So a lot of these players aren't physically strong enough.
Listen, you've got first team players coming back from injury.
Yeah.
They're given some of the 18s that they've got obviously high potential for, whichever, and like some of them ain't quite developed. You know what I mean? It's just
it's quite
21s, 23s. It just gives the younger players a little bit more time. So rather than you're 18, you're either going to go in the reserves for 2-3 years or you're not, basically. So
it's prolonging it, really, isn't it?
Definitely prolonging it. So
I think
they done that with like academies, didn't they? Like you get a free. I think back in our day it was a 2-year YT, and then they've brought in like you get 3 years now. You get the option of another year. Is that right?
Something I don't know.
To be fair, though, as soon as you leave school, you kind of want to be involved. Like you play one. Like as soon as I was 17, I think I wanted to be involved with the reserves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't want to play under 19 for too long. I didn't want to play 21s for too long. You want to play first team football. Like you want to be playing with the first team players. Because I remember playing against Dennis Bergkamp in the reserve team and like Colo Torre, all these big players. It kind of boosts you up. You're like, oh man, I'm on the same field with these like legends. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I've got a what do you call it? A program, like a team sheet. And we played Arsenal away at Highbury. And do you remember Overmars was playing?
Yeah.
Mate, how good was that? Like,
yeah, that's what I mean. You got Penn and Overmars and on the wings and like Ashley Cole playing and so it's a good competition. So better than playing 21s and 23, I reckon.
That's what I mean. Jules Grimande was there, John Lukic in goal. Like you're playing against like established players, like in the reserves.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a good bit of experience for like the younger lads. I mean, I was on the bench on that game, and you just think you look back at that team sheet and you think, Was I really involved in the same game as Mark Overmars? He's a legend, mate. How good was he?
Yeah.
Totally. And I think in terms of player development, that type of experience you cannot buy. And so it does surprise me that we still get to a situation. And we talk about England and stuff, players not coming through the academy system. I think part of the reason is because there's no reserve team football. I think they progress at a slower rate than they used to.
I don't think that'll ever come back, reserve team football, will it?
No, I don't think it will. I think unfortunately, which is a shame, because I think there's, as you said, not only for the guys, for the young guys coming through, but obviously from the older, you said, players returning back from injury, they could get a few reserve team games, get up to speed, rather than.
And generally in the reserve team, even if you're you're only on the fringes of the first team squad, you're older. And for a first team player to come back from injury, can still go and play with older lads instead of all 23s. It's like better for them as well, getting their fitness right.
Totally, exactly. And that's gents, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much for having us, Ross.
5 more minutes, Russ.
Good luck to
the boys.
We'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for having us, mate. See you later, boys. Give you a ring.
See you soon.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons. See you later. Bye.
Good night.
See you.